right? Like that discussion would be helpful to put out publicly and let a couple different top SEOs share their opinions, because I'm going to hear different things. Like, I'm on a couple multi-purpose, like multi-functional teams, and like people have different opinions. And it's like, I have to say, I don't know what the right answer is, because someone just published a study that is completely different from a month ago of what I thought. Like, here was a data point that someone sent me. Here's another data point, Dmitrii. Let me actually grab it, so I actually have the statistics correct. So this was in a group Slack chat. And then like, this is a decent sized group Slack chat. And then they're like, Matt, what do you think?
At least they're asking you what you think. I got yelled at. I got yelled at by a client. Like, hey, when I type in whatever this thing in my ChatGPT, my company doesn't come up, and then I don't see the LLM text on my chat on my website. So that's got to be the reason. It's like, why aren't you supposed to be great SEO? It's like, so you think if we add LLM.txt to your website is gonna do the magic? Like, for real?
Well,
real?
The same client I said is that's what they thought the difference was between them and a competitor. Okay, let me read this to you. This is like a brand new data point that was shared with me a couple days ago. SEO visibility in the top 1,000 ChatGPT cited pages. Nearly 1/3 of cited pages have zero organic presence. 28.3% or 283 pages have no organic keywords, no traditional search visibility. So which I haven't seen the study where the data is coming from, but they just gave me the graphic, is they said, okay, so almost 30% of the keywords that, or pages that are coming up in ChatGPT are not indexed in Google. Where is it getting the data from? Like, that's a very loaded question. Like,
yeah, that's very interesting.
28.30. So they're not ranking for any keywords, not top 100 at all. They're not in the directory, but they're showing up in ChatGPT. So my first thought,
that's very weird.
Right?
How's
like
that possible? That type of thing.
Well, that was like, put me on the spot. Ask me, what do you think? Okay. So I thought it was super interesting. I want to dig into the study. I want to find out more. Like, the first thing I thought is, I said, LLMs are probably not respecting walled gardens. Okay. Right.
Oh, that's possible too.
Because, Google, no follow links don't matter. The LLMs, from the data I've seen, don't care. They're scraping every data they can get to. So if it's not getting indexed in Google, it's going behind the walled gardens. That was the whole.
Yeah, I was going to say there was that big thing where all of the paid content was available through ChatGPT at some point.
Yeah. And so, like, okay, turning that off, like, that was a big, so that was where my brain went first, but I don't know if that's the right answer. And they're looking at me as the expert saying, like, why is this? And I said, I need to see the study. Let me dig into it more. But like, remember, even when the LLMs, like, as like they opened up the train data with RAG, like, they were really leaning on Google for the results. And then I saw another study that said a lot of what's showing up in LLMs, and I don't remember the percentage, was position 21 or more, like, or higher. Right. So the LLMs weren't saying super optimized for Google. That's not that's not the answer that they're looking for. And it makes sense, because they're looking for a very, very narrow answer. They're not looking for kind of something that's over optimized for Google.
Right.
And so, like, we're in a landscape that's constantly changing. And so you're layering on this landscape that's constantly changing. The workflows are constantly changing. Your playbooks are constantly changing. And then a constantly changing environment of how people want to work and how the newer generation want to work.
Yeah.
Like, all of these things are very fluid. Right. And so I would love to hear, kind of like you were sharing some of that earlier. I thought some of the information about working remote and what you're doing was fantastic. Like, I think a panel discussion to talk about some of those things, to talk about some, like, crazy failures that people have had, and like, what did they do about it? Because when I do coaching calls, and by the way, I don't have a formal coaching, but people reach out to me from the podcast. A lot of what it is like, I'm dealing with this client issue. How would you deal with it?
Yeah.
Right. Like that's what a lot of the coaching calls that I've been asked to be on. And so we get on either weekly calls or monthly calls, or bi-weekly is actually what we've found to be the best format. And they're like, hey, this happened. What would you do about it? How would you handle it? Like, how do I need to position this? And I think that kind of information, and share with you like my experience or your experience, that I think would be extremely valuable for a lot of people. And then we could get a panel discussion and everybody could, cross promote it. I think that could be
for
something
sure.
super
That'd be
interesting.
awesome.
Yeah.